Hello, and welcome. I'm your night librarian. So glad you're here tonight. I hope you don't mind. I've put on some relaxing music for you. It should begin shortly, softly in the background. Let's take a moment to slow down together. There's nothing you need to do, and nowhere you need to be. Let's light up the candle. Just a small, warm glow, steady and comforting. Take a gentle breath in and let it go. Tonight, we'll be talking about something simple, something calm, something that you can drift in and out of as you rest. You don't need to stay awake. Just listen, relax, and allow yourself to fall asleep whenever you're ready. This book takes us to 36,000 feet under, a journey to the deepest point on Earth. But before we start, close your eyes now and let your breath settle into a slow, gentle rhythm. In and out. With each breath, feel yourself becoming lighter, as if the weight of the day is slowly dissolving away. Tonight, we're going on a journey together, a quiet descent into one of Earth's most mysterious and peaceful places. We're traveling to the Mariana Trench, the deepest point in all the world's oceans. But we won't rush. There's no hurry here. We have all the time we need to drift downward, layer by layer, through waters that have cradled life for billions of years. Imagine yourself now, floating on the surface of the Pacific Ocean. The sky above is soft with the colors of late afternoon, pale blue fading into lavender. The sun sits low on the horizon, warm and golden. Beneath you, the water is calm, gently rocking you like a cradle. You're completely safe here, completely held. The ocean stretches endlessly in every direction. There's nothing but water and sky, and the quiet sound of small waves lapping against each other. This is the sunlight zone, the epipelagic zone, where light pours down from above and fills the water with brightness. Here, in the top 200 meters of the ocean, life is abundant and active. But right now, all you need to do is float. Just float. Feel the warmth of the sun on your face. Feel the gentle support of the water beneath you. You're beginning a descent that will take you nearly 7 miles down, to a place where humans have only visited a handful of times. But you don't need to think about that now. All you need to do is breathe and allow yourself to sink slowly, peacefully, into the blue. As you begin to drift beneath the surface, the water welcomes you. It's warm here, bathed in sunlight. The color around you is a brilliant, luminous blue. Not the dark blue of deep water, but a bright, almost glowing cyan that seems to hold the sky within it. You're descending slowly now, so slowly you barely notice you're moving. 5 meters down, 10 meters, 15. The light is still strong here, filtering through the water in long, soft rays. If you look up, you can still see the surface, shimmering like liquid glass above you. Schools of fish pass by in the distance, small, silver bodies moving together as one, turning and flowing like a living ribbon through the water. They don't mind you. You're just another presence here, drifting peacefully through their world. At 20 meters down, 30 meters, you notice how quiet it is. The sounds of the surface world have faded away completely. There's no wind here, no voices, just the deep, resonant silence of the sea. And even that silence has a quality to it, a fullness, as if the water itself is humming at a frequency too low to hear. You continue to sink. 50 meters now. The light is still bright, but softer somehow, more diffused. The rays of sunlight that pierce down from above move and sway with the water, creating patterns of light and shadow all around you. It's like being inside a dream, where everything moves slowly and nothing is quite solid. 70 meters, 90 meters. The blue deepens slightly, becoming richer. You're still in the sunlight zone, but you're approaching its lower reaches now. Most of the ocean's photosynthesis happens here, in these sun-drenched waters. Microscopic phytoplankton drift all around you, invisible to your eyes but present in their billions, turning sunlight into life. You breathe in and out. There's no effort required. You're not swimming. You're simply sinking, gently, like a leaf falling through air. The water holds you, supports you, carries you down. 100 meters deep now, 150. The light is beginning to change. The brilliant cyan has shifted into a deeper, more mysterious blue, like twilight settling over a clear lake. You can still see clearly, but the world around you has taken on a dreamlike quality, softer at the edges, quieter somehow. At 200 meters, you cross an invisible threshold. You're leaving the epipelagic zone now, the sunlight zone, and entering the twilight zone of the ocean, the mesopelagic zone. This is where light begins to fade, where the sun's rays grow weak and the color of the water shifts from blue into something darker, something that holds shadows within it. But there's no need for concern. You're perfectly safe here, drifting down through these quiet waters. The temperature is cooler now than it was at the surface. Not cold, but pleasantly cool, like slipping into a shaded pool on a warm day. The twilight zone extends from 200 meters down to 1,000 meters. That's a long, slow descent ahead of you, through waters that grow darker and darker as you fall. But we're in no rush. There's nowhere to be but here. Nothing to do but breathe and sink and let the ocean carry you deeper. At 250 meters, the light from above is noticeably dimmer. The sun's rays still penetrate down this far, but weakly now, filtered through hundreds of meters of water. The blue around you has deepened into something close to indigo. If you look up, you can still see the lighter water above, glowing faintly like a distant memory of the surface. 300 meters deep, 350. You're entering a realm that most people never see, never even imagine. a quiet, in-between place. Not quite bright, not quite dark. A place of transition where the rules begin to change. Down here, many creatures carry their own light. Bioluminescence, it's called. The ability to create light from within their own bodies through chemical reactions that glow in the darkness. You might see flickers of it as you descend. Brief, blue-green flashes in your peripheral vision. A jellyfish pulsing with soft light. A fish with glowing spots along its sides. They appear and disappear like stars flickering into existence and then fading away. But mostly, there's just the blue. The deep, encompassing blue that surrounds you on all sides. And the silence, and your breath moving in and out. 400 meters down now. The light is fading steadily. What was once bright has become dim. What was once clear has become obscured. The water around you is a deep twilight blue, like the sky in the moments after sunset, when the last light drains away and the stars begin to appear. You're sinking through a layer where many creatures of the deep ocean spend their days, hiding from predators in the dim light, waiting for darkness to fall so they can rise to the surface to feed. It's called the diurnal vertical migration, and it's one of the largest movements of animals on Earth, happening every single day in oceans all around the world. But right now, in this moment, everything is still. Everything is quiet. 500 meters. The pressure around you is increasing, though you don't feel it. Down here, the weight of all the water above presses down with tremendous force. But you're not affected. You're simply passing through, a gentle presence in these depths, welcome and unbothered. The color is shifting again. The blue is so dark now it's almost black, but not quite. There's still light here. Still a faint glow from above that penetrates down through the water. It's not enough to see clearly by, but it's enough to give the water a quality, a texture, like velvet, like the inside of a dream. 600 meters, 700. You've been descending for some time now, though time itself seems to have lost its meaning down here. There's only the present moment, only the slow, peaceful drift through darkening waters, only your breath, steady and calm. At 800 meters deep, the twilight is nearly complete. The faintest hint of blue still lingers in the water around you, but it's barely perceptible. You're approaching the limit of where sunlight can reach, the absolute bottom of the photic zone. Below this, no sunlight penetrates at all. 900 meters. The water is cold now, not uncomfortably so, but you can feel the coolness against your skin, gentle and refreshing. The pressure has continued to build, though you remain unaffected, protected, safe. And then, at 1,000 meters deep, the last light from the surface finally disappears. You've descended through 200 meters of bright, sun-filled water, and then 800 meters of slowly dimming twilight. And now, you're crossing into complete darkness, into the midnight zone. The bathypelagic zone begins here. at 1,000 meters and extends down to 4,000 meters below the surface. This is the true deep ocean, the realm of eternal night. But even in darkness, you're at peace. Even here, in the deepest twilight, you feel calm, safe, held by the water, and your journey has only just begun. Breathe in and out. Let yourself sink deeper. There's still so far to go, and we'll descend together, slowly, peacefully, into the depths. The darkness welcomes you. The ocean holds you. And all you need to do is rest. 1,000 meters deep. The darkness here is absolute, complete. If you were to open your eyes, you would see nothing at all. No shapes, no shadows, just pure, velvet blackness stretching endlessly in every direction. But darkness is not emptiness. Down here, in these midnight waters, life continues. Strange, beautiful creatures drift through the black, many of them creating their own light, their own constellations in the deep. You're still sinking, slowly, steadily. 1,100 meters, 1,200. The water pressure at this depth is immense, over 100 times the pressure at the surface. But you don't feel it. You're simply passing through, like a thought moving through the mind of the ocean. The temperature has dropped significantly now. It hovers just above freezing, somewhere between 2 and 4 degrees Celsius. Cold, dark, and still. This is a place where change happens slowly, where the seasons of the surface world don't reach. Down here, it's always winter, always night. But there's a profound peace in this darkness, a quietness that goes beyond mere silence. It's the kind of quiet you might find in the depths of meditation, or in those precious moments just before sleep, when the mind finally lets go of the day's concerns and drifts into stillness. 1,500 meters now. You've been descending for quite some time, and yet there's still so far to go. The Mariana Trench reaches down almost 11,000 meters below the surface. You're not even at the halfway point yet, but there's no need to rush. No need to worry about the distance. You're exactly where you need to be, in this moment, suspended in the dark water. Occasionally, you might see a flash of bioluminescent light, a brief spark in the darkness, some creature passing nearby, its body glowing with soft blue or green light. Down here, bioluminescence serves many purposes. Some fish use it to lure prey, dangling glowing lures in front of their mouths. Others use it to communicate, flashing patterns to potential mates. Still others use it as camouflage, matching the faint downwelling light from far above to hide their silhouettes from predators below. But mostly, there's just darkness, and silence, and the slow, gentle descent through cold water. 2,000 meters deep. You're well into the midnight zone now, the bathypelagic zone. This region extends from 1,000 meters down to 4,000 meters, and it represents the largest habitat on Earth. More than half of the world's water is found at these depths or deeper. This is the true ocean, the real ocean, vast and dark and largely unexplored. Scientists estimate that we know more about the surface of the moon than we do about the deep ocean. Humans have mapped every crater and mountain on the lunar surface, but the ocean floor remains mysterious, with only about 20% of it mapped in detail. Down here, in these dark waters, there are creatures that have never been seen by human eyes. Entire ecosystems that function in ways we don't fully understand. But tonight, none of that matters. Tonight, you're not here to study or explore. You're here simply to be, to exist peacefully in this quiet space, far removed from the busy world above. 2,500 meters, 3,000 meters. The water is so still here, so incredibly still. Unlike the surface, where waves and currents constantly churn the water, down here there's barely any movement at all. The water feels almost solid, as if you're sinking through something denser than liquid. Not heavy, but substantial, present, at 3,000 meters deep. You're as far below the surface as many mountains are high. Mount Fuji in Japan rises about 3,700 meters above sea level. You've descended the equivalent of climbing one of Earth's significant peaks, only in reverse. Going down instead of up, into pressure instead of thin air, into darkness instead of clouds. And still, you keep sinking, slowly, peacefully. There's a rhythm to it now, a gentle, constant downward drift that feels almost like floating in space. No up, no down. Just the darkness and the cold and the profound, abiding stillness. 3,500 meters now. 4,000 meters approaching. You're nearing the bottom of the midnight zone, the bathypelagic zone. Soon, you'll cross into the abyssal zone, the abyssopelagic zone, which extends from 4,000 meters down to 6,000 meters. The word abyss comes from ancient Greek, meaning bottomless. For most of human history, people believed the deep ocean was exactly that, an endless void, a bottomless pit that went down forever into the center of the earth. It wasn't until the 19th century that scientists began to understand the true depth of the ocean and the fact that life existed even in its darkest reaches. At 4,000 meters, you cross the threshold. You're in the abyssal zone now. The pressure here is almost 400 times what it is at the surface. The temperature hovers just above freezing. And the darkness is absolute, total, unchanged for millions of years. But life persists, even here. See cucumbers crawl across the ocean floor far below. Amphipods, tiny crustaceans, scavenge for food. Bacteria break down the organic matter that drifts down from above. The constant rain of dead plankton and fish and waste material that marine biologists call marine snow. Marine snow. Even the name is poetic. If you could see it, you'd notice tiny white flecks drifting down through the darkness, falling so slowly it would take weeks or months for them to reach the bottom. It's the primary source of food for creatures in the deep ocean. This gentle, constant snowfall of nutrients from the sunlit world far above. 4,500 meters. 5,000 meters. You're deeper now than the deepest point in the Atlantic Ocean. The Puerto Rico Trench, the deepest part of the Atlantic, reaches down to about 8,400 meters. But the Pacific is deeper, much deeper, and you're headed for its deepest point of all, 5,500 meters down. The weight of the water above you is staggering, though you don't feel it. If you were to stack elephants on top of each other to create the same amount of pressure, you'd need about 550 of them. But the creatures that live down here are adapted to this environment. Their bodies are built for it. The pressure doesn't crush them because their cells contain the same pressure internally. They are in equilibrium with their environment, perfectly balanced. At 6,000 meters, you leave the abyssal zone behind and enter the hadal zone. The hadal-pelagic zone, named after Hades, the ancient Greek underworld. This is the deepest region of the ocean, found only in trenches and deep basins. It extends from 6,000 meters all the way down to the deepest point on Earth. The Mariana Trench is one of about 30 trenches around the world that reach into the hadal zone. These trenches are formed where one tectonic plate slides beneath another, creating deep, narrow valleys in the ocean floor. The Mariana Trench is the deepest of them all, a crescent-shaped scar in the Earth's crust that runs for over 2,500 kilometers near the island of Guam. 6,500 meters. 7,000 meters. You're in a realm that fewer people have visited than have walked on the moon. Only a handful of humans have ever descended this deep. And yet, here you are, drifting peacefully through these waters, calm and safe, held by the ocean. The darkness here is the same as it was thousands of meters above. The cold is the same, but somehow it feels different, more profound, more final. You're approaching the bottom of the world, the absolute lowest point, and there's a sense of completion in that, a sense of reaching the end of something vast. 7,500 meters, 8,000 meters. The water pressure is now over 800 times what it is at the surface. 800 times. And yet the water itself is barely more dense than it is at the surface. Water is remarkably incompressible. Even under this tremendous pressure, it maintains its essential nature. 8,500 meters down. 9,000 meters. You're deeper than Mount Everest is tall. If you could somehow place Mount Everest, the highest point on Earth, into the Mariana Trench, its peak would still be over 2,000 meters underwater. The thought is almost impossible to grasp. The scale is too large, too foreign to everyday experience. But you don't need to grasp it. You don't need to understand it. All you need to do is breathe in and out, and continue your slow descent through the dark. 9,500 meters, 10,000 meters. You're approaching the bottom now. The floor of the trench is rising up to meet you, though you can't see it yet in the darkness. but you can sense it somehow, the way you might sense the presence of the ground beneath you when walking in the dark. At 10,500 meters, you begin to feel a change. The water seems different somehow, thicker, perhaps, or more still. You're in the deepest part of the hadal zone now, in waters that see less traffic than the void of space. 10,900 meters. You're almost there, almost at the bottom. The deepest point on Earth is called Challenger Deep, named after the HMS Challenger, a British ship that first measured the trench depth in the 1870s. The exact depth has been measured many times since then, with different expeditions reporting slightly different numbers. But the most commonly accepted depth is approximately 10,984 meters, almost 11 kilometers down. And then, gently, softly, your descent slows. You're reaching the bottom. After such a long journey through the water, through all those layers and zones, through the light and the twilight and the endless darkness, you're finally arriving at the deepest point on Earth. Your feet touch down on soft sediment, the floor of the ocean, the bottom of the world, and here, in this impossible place, you rest. Breathe in and out. You've arrived, and all is still. Here you are, at the bottom of the world, 10,984 meters below the surface, nearly 7 miles down, the deepest point on Earth. The sediment beneath you is soft, almost like powder. Millions of years of marine snow have accumulated here, creating a fine layer of organic material mixed with clay and the shells of microscopic organisms. It's cool to the touch and perfectly still. Nothing disturbs it except the occasional visiting creature and the very slow currents that move through these depths. Above you, if you could see it, is the entire weight of the ocean. Nearly 11 kilometers of water pressing down. The pressure here is over 1,000 times what it is at the surface. Over 15,000 pounds per square inch. It would crush a human body instantly, collapse a submarine that wasn't specifically designed for these depths. But you're safe here, protected, at peace. The darkness is complete, total. There is no light source anywhere. No sun has ever reached this place. Not in all the billions of years the ocean has existed. This darkness is as old as the water itself, ancient and unchanging. And yet, it's not frightening. There's something deeply restful about it, something womb-like and sheltering. Down here, in the absolute depths, in the furthest place from the busy surface world, there's a peace that can't be found anywhere else on Earth. Take a moment now to simply be here, to exist in this quiet space. Your breath moves in and out, slow and steady. There's nowhere to go, nothing to do. You've completed your descent. You've traveled through every layer of the ocean, from the bright sunlight zone to the twilight, from the midnight waters to the abyss, and finally down into the hadal depths. And now you're here, resting at the bottom of everything. And it's peaceful, even here, In this seemingly barren place, life exists. Scientists have discovered creatures living in the Challenger Deep that have adapted to conditions that seem impossible to survive. Amphipods, small shrimp-like crustaceans, have been found at these depths, their bodies specially adapted to withstand the crushing pressure. Sea cucumbers rest on the sediment, slowly filtering nutrients from the mud. Single-celled organisms called foraminifera live in the sediment itself, some of them uniquely adapted to the Hadal Zone. When the filmmaker James Cameron descended to the Challenger Deep in 2012, he reported seeing small, flat fish and transparent sea cucumbers. When the expedition returned to the surface and examined the samples they collected, they found bacteria and other microorganisms thriving in conditions that would kill almost any other form of life on Earth. Life finds a way, even here, in the coldest, darkest, most pressurized environment on the planet. Life persists. It's remarkable, really, humbling. The tenacity of living things, their ability to adapt and survive in places that seem utterly hostile. But perhaps this place isn't hostile at all. Perhaps, to the creatures that have evolved here, this is simply home. The darkness isn't frightening to them. The pressure isn't crushing. The cold isn't uncomfortable. This is the only world they've ever known, and it's perfectly suited to their needs. In the same way, you're finding comfort here now, even though you've come from the surface world, even though you're a visitor in these depths. There's something welcoming about this place, something that invites rest, invites release. The Mariana Trench itself is ancient. The Pacific Plate has been subducting beneath the Mariana Plate for millions of years, creating this deep scar in the ocean floor. The rocks here have witnessed ages come and go. They were here before humans evolved, before mammals walked the earth, before the dinosaurs rose and fell. The trench has been quietly existing, unchanging, while life on the surface went through countless transformations. There's something deeply grounding about that, about being in a place so old, so permanent, so far removed from the temporary concerns of daily life. Down here, the things that seem so important on the surface, deadlines, obligations, worries, fears, they all seem very far away, less substantial, less real. What's real is this moment, this breath, the soft sediment beneath you, the cold, dark water surrounding you. The profound stillness that exists at the bottom of the world. Rest here for a while. There's no hurry. Time moves differently in the deep ocean. A day passes much like a year. A year passes much like a century. Everything happens slowly here, at a pace that's almost geological. The creatures that live here have long lifespans. Some of the amphipods found in the trench are thought to live for decades, growing slowly, moving slowly, existing in a rhythm that matches the eternal patience of the deep. In the sediment around you, there are traces of the world above, particles that have drifted down over months and years, slowly falling through the water column. fragments of plankton shells, bits of organic matter, even, unfortunately, microplastics and other remnants of human activity. The deep ocean isn't as isolated as it once was. Our influence has reached even here, to the most remote place on Earth. But tonight, we're not here to dwell on that. Tonight, we're here to find peace, to rest, to let the stillness of these depths seep into our bones and quiet the constant chatter of the mind. Breathe in and out. Feel the weight of the water above you, not as a burden, but as a blanket, a protective layer between you and the world above. Down here, you're insulated from everything, held, sheltered, safe. The water temperature is just above freezing, 1 to 4 degrees Celsius. Cold, but not painfully so. It's a clean cold, a pure cold, the kind that sharpens awareness and brings clarity. Down here, in this cold and dark, there's a crystalline quality to existence. Everything is stripped down to its essence. No distractions, no complications, just being. If you listen very carefully, you might hear sounds. Even in the deep ocean, there is sound. The ocean floor is not silent. There are subtle noises, the movement of sediment, the calls of distant whales from miles and miles away, their songs traveling through the water. Sound travels differently in the ocean than it does in air. It moves faster, travels farther, especially in the deep where the pressure and temperature create channels that can carry sound across entire ocean basins. But these sounds are quiet, distant. They don't disturb the essential stillness of this place. They are more like the sounds you might hear while falling asleep, the distant hum of traffic, the soft whisper of wind, things that exist on the edge of awareness without demanding attention. Down here, you're part of the ocean's rhythm, part of its slow, ancient breathing. The currents that move through these depths move at a glacial pace, taking centuries to complete their circuits. Water that sinks in the North Atlantic might not reach the Pacific for 1,000 years. The ocean breathes on a time scale that dwarfs human lifetimes, that makes our brief years seem like heartbeats in the body of something vast and eternal. And you're floating in that vastness now, resting in it, held by it. There's a phenomenon in the deep ocean called a brine pool. In some places, water with a very high salt content collects in depressions on the ocean floor, creating underwater lakes. These pools are denser than the surrounding seawater, so they remain separate, creating a distinct boundary you could almost see if there were light. The brine is toxic to most life, but certain bacteria thrive at the edges, creating unique ecosystems. The Mariana Trench doesn't have brine pools, but it has its own unique features. Mud volcanoes, fields of hydrothermal vents that pump superheated water up from beneath the Earth's crust. These vents create oases of life in the deep, supporting communities of tube worms, clams, and bacteria that live on chemical energy rather than sunlight. Chemosynthesis instead of photosynthesis. But here, where you're resting, there are no vents nearby. Just soft sediment and cold water and darkness. Just stillness. Just peace. Your body feels heavy now. Relaxed. The tension you might have been carrying has dissolved away, absorbed by the water around you. Your mind, too, has grown quiet. The constant stream of thoughts has slowed to a trickle, then to nothing at all. You're simply here, present, at rest. The bottom of the Mariana Trench is not perfectly flat. It has small hills and valleys, variations in the sediment. If you were to travel along the trench floor, you'd find different depths, different features. Challenger Deep is the deepest point, but there are other deep points nearby, each with their own names, their own characteristics. But you don't need to explore. You don't need to move. You're exactly where you need to be, resting in this one spot, letting the ocean hold you. In some ways, this journey to the bottom of the ocean is like a journey into sleep. You've descended through layers of consciousness, from the bright awareness of the waking world down through drowsiness, through the twilight state between waking and sleeping, and finally into the deep rest of true sleep. Each layer darker than the last, each layer quieter, each layer more peaceful. And now you're in the deepest part, the place where real rest happens, where the body repairs itself, where the mind releases its grip on the day, where everything can finally, truly, let go. The water around you is perfectly still. The sediment beneath you is soft. The darkness is complete, and you're safe here. Completely, utterly safe. There's nothing to fear in these depths. Nothing to worry about. You're held by the ocean, cradled by the water, protected by the darkness. Breathe in, slowly, and breathe out, even more slowly. Feel yourself sinking deeper into relaxation, deeper into rest. Just as you've sunk through all those meters of water, now you're sinking into sleep, letting go of awareness, letting go of thought, drifting into the deepest, most restful state. The bottom of the world is a peaceful place. The deepest point on earth is a place of rest. And you're here now. You've arrived. You've completed your journey, and now you can simply rest. Let the darkness hold you. Let the water support you. Let the stillness fill you, and drift peacefully into sleep. You're resting now at the bottom of the world, so deeply relaxed, so perfectly still. The weight of almost 7 miles of water above you, and yet you feel lighter than air, unburdened, free. Time has no meaning here. Minutes could be hours. Hours could be days. In the eternal darkness of the Challenger Deep, there are no sunrises to mark the passing of time. No seasons. Just the endless, peaceful now. This moment, stretching on, calm and unchanging. Your breathing has become so slow, so gentle. Each breath is like a wave on a distant shore, quiet and rhythmic. In and out, in and out. The oxygen in your blood moves lazily through your body, nourishing every cell, allowing everything to rest, to repair, to simply be. The creatures that live at these depths move in slow motion. There's no reason to hurry when food is scarce and energy must be conserved. A sea cucumber might take hours to travel a few meters across the ocean floor. An amphipod might spend days in one small area, searching methodically for any tiny particle of nutrition. Life here is patient, unhurried, moving at the pace of the deep. And you're moving at that pace now too. Your thoughts, if they come at all, drift by slowly, like particles of marine snow falling through dark water. You notice them distantly, without attachment, and then they're gone, settling somewhere in the sediment of your unconscious mind. There's a quality to the darkness here that's almost tangible. It's not the absence of light, but a presence in itself. A soft, enveloping darkness that wraps around you like the most comfortable blanket you've ever known. The kind of darkness that existed before the first stars ignited, before the universe knew what light was. Primordial, ancient, restful. In this darkness, your other senses might seem heightened, though there's so little to sense down here. The temperature is constant. The pressure is constant. Even the water itself barely moves. It's the most stable environment on Earth, unchanging from one day to the next, from 1 year to the next, from one millennium to the next. Stability, consistency, peace. These are the gifts of the deep. Your muscles have released all their tension now. Your jaw is relaxed. Your shoulders have dropped. Your hands rest gently, fingers slightly curled. Even your eyes, behind closed lids, have stopped moving. Everything has settled into profound rest. The sediment beneath you holds the history of the ocean, layers upon layers of it, compressing over time, each layer representing thousands of years. If you could somehow read these layers like the rings of a tree, you could trace the story of Earth climate, the rise and fall of plankton populations, the chemical changes in the ocean over geological time. But that story is buried deep, compressed under the weight of ages, just as your daily concerns are buried deep beneath the weight of this profound relaxation. Far above you, impossibly far, the surface world continues. Waves rise and fall, winds blow, ships pass overhead, their engines creating distant vibrations that dissipate long before reaching these depths. People go about their lives, unaware of this quiet place at the bottom of everything, unaware of the peace that exists here. But you're aware of it now. You've found it. You've descended through all those layers to arrive at this place of ultimate rest. And now you're experiencing something that very few people ever experience. The profound stillness of the deepest point on Earth. The cold water around you has become familiar now. Comfortable, even. Your body has adjusted to it, accepted it. The cold is no longer cold, but simply the natural state of things. The temperature of rest. the temperature of deep sleep. In your mind, you might see colors now, not the colors of the surface world, but different colors, the colors of deep meditation, deep blue, fading into purple, into black, soft shapes moving behind your closed eyes, patterns that mean nothing and everything, the visual language of the unconscious mind as it processes and releases and prepares for sleep. There are valleys within valleys here, small depressions in the trench floor where the sediment has collected more thickly. You're resting in one of these now, nestled into the softest part of the ocean floor, cradled by the earth itself. The planet is holding you, supporting you, welcoming you into its deepest embrace. Scientists who study the deep ocean sometimes speak of it with a kind of reverence. There's something about these depths that inspires awe, that reminds us how vast the world truly is, how much remains unknown and unexplored. We think we know Earth because we've mapped its surface, built cities and roads, crossed every continent. But the deep ocean remains mysterious, wild, beyond our complete understanding. And that's comforting, in a way, to know that there are still places like this, still depths we haven't fully explored, still mysteries waiting in the dark. It means the world is larger than our grasp, deeper than our understanding. It means there's always more, always something beyond. But right now, you don't need to think about any of that. Right now, all you need to do is rest. Let your mind wander where it will, or let it wander nowhere at all. Let consciousness slip away gradually, imperceptibly, like sand running through an hourglass, grain by grain, until the hourglass is empty and there's nothing left but sleep. The water pressure at this depth would compress air to a tiny fraction of its surface volume. A balloon filled with air at the surface would be crushed to almost nothing down here. But water doesn't compress in the same way. The water around you is barely denser than the water at the surface. It maintains its essential nature, its fluidity, its ability to support and hold and cradle. Like water, you too maintain your essential nature, even in the deepest rest. Sleep doesn't erase you. It doesn't diminish you. It simply allows you to exist without effort, without awareness, without the constant work of being conscious. And that's a gift, a necessary gift, the gift of restoration. Your heartbeat has slowed to its resting rate. Steady, strong, quiet. Each beat sends blood flowing through your body, delivering oxygen, removing waste, maintaining all the subtle processes that keep you alive without any conscious effort on your part. Your body knows how to rest. It knows how to heal. It knows how to sleep. All you have to do is let it. The darkness around you seems to pulse gently with your heartbeat, as if the ocean itself is breathing with you, as if you've become part of it, indistinguishable from the water and the sediment and the cold. You're dissolving into this place, becoming one with the deep, and it's not frightening. It's peaceful, natural, right. In some of the world's spiritual traditions, there's a concept of returning to the source. The idea that we come from a place of pure potential, pure peace, and that we spend our lives yearning to return to it. Some traditions call it the void, others call it the divine, others simply call it home. The bottom of the ocean is like that, a place of return, a place where the complexity of the surface world falls away and only the essential remains. Water, darkness, stillness. The most basic elements of existence, stripped of all ornament, all distraction. And in this stripped-down state, there's a kind of perfection, not the perfection of achievement or beauty, but the perfection of simple being, the perfection of a stone, the perfection of water, the perfection of darkness. Things that exist without striving, without wanting, without needing to be anything other than what they are. You're experiencing that now. Just being, just existing, without effort, without thought, without the constant internal narrative that usually fills your mind. You've descended below the level where that narrative lives. You've gone so deep that even your sense of self has become quiet, dim, far away. If you were to stay here long enough, you might forget the surface world entirely. Forget the sun and the sky and the feeling of wind on your face. You might become a creature of the deep, adapted to darkness, comfortable in the cold, at home in the pressure. You might forget you were ever anything else, but you don't need to forget. You can hold both truths at once, that you belong to the surface world, and that you also belong here, in the depths, that you're a creature of light and movement, and also a creature of darkness and stillness. Both are true. Both are you. And right now, in this moment, you're choosing the darkness, choosing the stillness, choosing the deep rest that's available here at the bottom of the world. It's a choice you can make any time you need to. The deep ocean is always here, always waiting, always ready to welcome you into its peaceful embrace. Your breath has become so quiet now that it's barely perceptible. The rise and fall of your chest is gentle, subtle, like the slow movement of the tides. Everything has slowed down. Everything has softened. You're drifting now, floating between waking and sleeping, between consciousness and unconsciousness, in that liminal space where the boundaries dissolve and everything becomes one. The water holds you. The darkness surrounds you. The earth cradles you. And you're safe here, so deeply, perfectly safe. Nothing can harm you in this place. Nothing can reach you. You're protected by miles of water, insulated by darkness, held by the ancient patience of the deep. Let yourself go now. Let go of whatever small thread of awareness you might still be holding. Let it slip away. Let yourself sink deeper into rest, deeper into sleep, deeper into the profound peace that exists at the bottom of everything. There's nothing more to do, nowhere more to go. You've arrived at the deepest point, and now you can simply rest, simply be, simply sleep. The ocean floor is soft beneath you. The water is still around you. The darkness is complete. And you're here, at peace, at rest, at the bottom of the world, where everything is quiet and nothing disturbs the eternal stillness. Breathe in, so slowly, and breathe out, even more slowly. And let go. Let go of everything. And sleep. Deep rest. Deep peace. You're floating now in a space beyond words, beyond thought. The darkness has become everything. Not oppressive, but liberating. In this absolute darkness, there's no need to see. No need to navigate. No need to be anywhere but here. The sediment beneath you has molded to your form, supporting every part of you perfectly. It's been accumulating here for millions of years, particle by particle, waiting for this moment, waiting to hold you. And now it does. With infinite patience, infinite gentleness, your awareness, if it exists at all, has become diffuse, spread out. You're not concentrated in one point anymore, but distributed through the water around you, through the darkness, through the cold. You've expanded to fill this space, or contracted to a single point of stillness. It's hard to say which, perhaps both at once. The boundary between you and the ocean has grown thin, permeable. You breathe, and the ocean breathes. You rest, and the ocean rests. There's no separation anymore, just the slow, eternal rhythm of existence at the deepest point on Earth. Time continues to pass, though you're barely aware of it. Minutes flowing into one another like water, indistinguishable, unmarked. In the world above, people are checking clocks, keeping appointments, rushing from one thing to the next. But that world is so far away now, so distant it might as well be another planet, another lifetime. Here, there's only this moment, this breath, this profound, bottomless peace. The temperature of the water has become your temperature. The pressure of the water has become your pressure. You've equalized with your environment completely, the way the deep sea creatures have. No resistance, no struggle, just perfect adaptation to what is. In the sediment around you, tiny organisms are living their microscopic lives. Bacteria breaking down organic molecules, extracting energy from chemical bonds, existing in a world without sunlight, without photosynthesis. They've been doing this for billions of years, long before complex life evolved, and they'll continue doing it long after. They're the ultimate survivors, the foundation of life, and they're here with you now, sharing this space at the bottom of the world. But you don't need to think about them. You don't need to think about anything. Thought itself has become optional, unnecessary, something you can simply let go of and not miss at all. There's a sound in the deep ocean that scientists have recorded and can't fully explain. A low-frequency hum, almost below the range of human hearing. Some think it might be the sound of the earth itself, vibrations from geological processes deep in the crust. Others think it might be the collective sound of countless tiny organisms, all moving and living together. No one knows for sure, but if you listen now, very carefully, without straining, you might hear it. Or perhaps you might feel it more than hear it. A subtle vibration, a presence, the hum of existence itself, the frequency at which the universe vibrates when no one is listening. It's deeply soothing, this sound that isn't quite a sound. It resonates in your chest, in your bones, in the fluid of your inner A. It reminds you that even in silence, even in stillness, there's always vibration, always movement at the quantum level. Nothing is ever truly still. Everything is always dancing, always humming, always alive with subtle energy. But the dance is so slow here, so gentle. It doesn't disturb your rest. It supports it, holds it, cradles it. Your dreams, if they come, will be strange dreams. The dreams of the deep, not the usual dreams of the surface world, full of people and places and narratives, but simpler dreams, more elemental, dreams of floating, dreams of darkness, dreams of pressure and cold and the slow movement of water, dreams without images, just feelings, just sensations, just the pure experience of being, or perhaps no dreams at all, just the deep, dreamless sleep that's the most restful kind. The sleep where consciousness dissolves completely and the brain can do its deepest work of restoration and repair. The sleep where memory consolidates, where learning integrates, where the nervous system resets itself for the day to come. That's the gift of this place, the gift of complete rest, of total release from the demands of consciousness, of permission to simply not be, for a while, to let the body and brain do what they need to do without any interference from the waking mind. The ocean is holding you through it all. The darkness is protecting you. The cold is preserving you. Everything is exactly as it should be. Far above, perhaps 9,000 meters above, perhaps 10,000, the midnight zone continues. Fish with enormous eyes swim slowly through the dark, searching for the faint bioluminescent signals of prey or mates. Jellyfish pulse through the water, their bodies trailing long tentacles. Squid hover in place, perfectly still, waiting. Above them, in the Twilight Zone, the diurnal migration is happening. As day turns to night on the surface, millions of creatures are rising from the depths to feed in the richer waters above. And as night turns to day, they'll descend again, seeking refuge in the dimness, hiding from predators that hunt by sight. It's one of the great rhythms of the ocean, this daily rising and falling, this movement between light and dark. But it doesn't reach down here. Down here, there is no day or night, no rising or falling, just the eternal present, unchanging, constant, still. You're below all of that, beyond all of that, resting in a place where the rhythms of the surface world don't apply, where you can simply exist outside of time, outside of change, outside of everything but this pure, essential now. The water around you is ancient. Some of the molecules in this water might have been here for thousands of years, trapped in the slow circulation of the deep ocean. There might have been ice once, in the Antarctic, before melting and sinking and traveling slowly across the ocean floor. There might have been vapor once, rising from the tropical sea, before raining down and eventually making their way to these depths. Water is always transforming, always moving through cycles, but doing it so slowly in the deep that each moment seems eternal. The water holding you now might not reach the surface again for centuries. It's in no hurry. It has nowhere to be but here. And neither do you. You have nowhere to be but here. Nothing to do but rest. Nothing to become but deeply, profoundly relaxed. Your body knows how to do this. It's done it every night of your life. This descent into sleep, this release into unconsciousness. It's as natural as breathing. As natural as the beating of your heart. Your body is wise. It knows exactly what it needs. And right now, it needs this. This depth, this stillness, this peace. If you could see yourself from outside, you might look like one of the deep sea creatures, perfectly still, perfectly adapted to this environment, belonging here as completely as anything that evolved here over millions of years. The ocean makes no distinction between visitor and resident. It holds both with the same gentle pressure, the same encompassing darkness, the same cold embrace. You're part of the ocean now. Part of the deep, and the deep is part of you. This experience is changing you, even as you sleep, giving you something you can carry back to the surface world, a memory of stillness, a touchstone of peace, a place you can return to in your mind whenever you need to remember what true rest feels like. The deepest point on earth, the quietest place in the world, the most peaceful space imaginable. And you're here. You've made this journey. You've descended through all those meters of water, all those layers of ocean, to arrive at this place of ultimate rest. And now you're resting. Deeply, completely, perfectly. Your heartbeat continues. Steady and slow. Your lungs continue to breathe, gentle and rhythmic. Blood continues to flow through your veins, delivering oxygen, removing carbon dioxide. Your body maintains all its essential functions without any conscious effort, allowing your mind to rest completely, to go offline, to disappear into the darkness and the cold and the pressure and the peace. This is what sleep is meant to be. Not a troubled sleep, not a restless sleep, but this. Deep, restorative, complete. The kind of sleep where you wake feeling like you've traveled to another world and returned, refreshed and renewed. And in a way, you have traveled to another world. The deep ocean is as alien as any planet, as different from the surface world as Earth is from Mars. And yet it's here, on our own planet, waiting, always waiting, always ready to offer this gift of stillness to anyone willing to make the descent. The gift is yours now. You've received it. You're living it. You're breathing it. You're being it. Nothing more is required. Nothing more is needed. Just this. Just rest. Just peace. Just the profound, encompassing stillness of the deepest point on earth. Let the ocean hold you. Let the darkness enfold you. Let the cold preserve you. Let the pressure support you. Let everything that you are and everything that you aren't dissolve into this moment, this place, this perfect, absolute peace. You're sleeping now, truly sleeping, deeply sleeping, the kind of sleep that heals, the kind of sleep that restores, the kind of sleep that makes everything possible again when you wake. But you don't need to think about waking. Not now. Not yet. Now is the time for sleeping, for resting, for being held by the ocean at the deepest point on earth, the bottom of the world, the end of the descent, the place where falling stops and rest begins. You're here, you're safe, you're at peace, and you can stay here as long as you need, as long as you want. The ocean has infinite patience, infinite time. It will hold you for as long as you need to be held. Rest now, sleep now, dream the dreams of the deep, or dream no dreams at all. You're exactly where you're meant to be, at the bottom of everything, at peace, stillness, perfect, absolute stillness. You've been resting here at the bottom of the world for some time now. Though time has lost all meaning, there's only the eternal now, stretching in all directions, infinite and peaceful. The darkness continues to hold you, not as an absence, but as a presence, a soft, velvet presence that asks nothing of you, expects nothing from you, simply allows you to be, without judgment, without measure, without any need to perform or produce or even think. In this darkness, you're free. Free from the constant visual stimulation of the surface world. Free from the need to process images, to interpret faces, to navigate spaces. Your eyes can rest completely behind closed lids, the muscles around them soft and slack, no tension anywhere. And in that freedom, there's a kind of bliss. The bliss of not having to do anything at all, not even having to be conscious, just existing in this deep, dreamless state where the boundaries between self and ocean have dissolved so completely that there's no way to tell where one ends and the other begins. The sediment beneath you has become part of you, or you've become part of it. You're sinking into it slightly, the way you might sink into the most comfortable bed imaginable. The particles of ancient marine snow, the microscopic shells, the clay, the organic matter, all of it supporting you, cradling you, holding you in its soft embrace. This sediment has stories in it, the history of the ocean written in layers too thin to see but present nonetheless. Volcanic eruptions recorded in ash layers. Climate shifts recorded in the types of plankton shells. Meteor impacts recorded in rare metal deposits. The entire history of Earth's relationship with its ocean, compressed and preserved in this soft mud at the bottom of the trench. But those stories are sleeping too, buried, quiet, waiting for someone to read them, but in no hurry. They've waited millions of years already. They can wait a little longer, and you're adding your own presence to this place now. The weight of your body, slight as it is, the warmth of your body, minimal though it may be, the fact of your existence here, at this moment, in this impossible place. You're becoming part of the story of the Mariana Trench, part of its long, patient history. Your breathing has become almost imperceptible now, so slow, so shallow, that it's barely movement at all. Just the gentlest exchange of air, the most minimal rise and fall. Your body has entered the deepest phase of sleep, the phase where healing happens, where growth hormones are released, where the immune system does its most important work. This is the sleep your body has been craving. The deep, uninterrupted rest that allows every system to reset, to recalibrate, to restore itself to balance. In this sleep, your brain is washing itself, flushing out the metabolic waste that accumulates during waking hours. Your muscles are repairing any small damage from the day's activities. Your cells are regenerating, dividing, replacing themselves. All of this happening automatically, without any conscious direction, while you rest here in the darkness and the cold and the peace of the deepest point on Earth. The ocean is facilitating this somehow. Its presence, its vastness, its ancient patience, all of it creating the perfect conditions for this kind of deep restoration. As if the ocean itself is healing you, the way it heals itself, through slow processes that happen over lifetimes and eons. There are trenches elsewhere in the world's oceans. The Tonga Trench in the South Pacific, the Philippine Trench, the Kermadec Trench, the Japan Trench, each one a deep scour in the ocean floor, a place where the Earth's crust bends and breaks and slides beneath itself, each one reaching down into the Hadal Zone, into those deepest waters where few creatures live and fewer still have been studied. But the Mariana Trench is the deepest of them all. The ultimate descent, the furthest point down, and you're here, at its deepest point, experiencing something that almost no one else has ever experienced. There's a privilege in that, but also a responsibility to truly receive this gift, to truly allow yourself to rest, to let go, to surrender to the profound peace that this place offers, not to fight it or analyze it or try to understand it, but simply to experience it, to be present with it, even in unconsciousness, even in sleep. The ocean asks nothing of you except this, to rest, to be held, to allow yourself to receive what it's offering. And you're doing that now, perfectly, completely, without reservation or resistance. In the abyssal plains above you, thousands of meters up, the ocean floor stretches flat and featureless for miles and miles. Endless expanses of sediment, occasionally interrupted by the skeleton of a whale that has sunk from the surface, creating a temporary oasis of food that attracts scavengers from miles around. These whale falls can sustain entire ecosystems for decades, slowly being consumed, slowly returning to the sediment. But here, in the trench, there are no whale falls. The trenches are too narrow, too steep-sided. Whales that die drift down to the abyssal plains or the continental slopes, but rarely into the trenches themselves. The trenches are isolated, separate, their own unique environments with their own unique adaptations. And that isolation, that separation, is part of what makes this place so peaceful, so removed from everything else, so perfectly suited for rest. You're in a place apart, a place between, neither fully of the ocean nor fully separate from it, neither awake nor truly unconscious, just floating in this liminal space where everything is possible and nothing is required. Your mind, in whatever form it still exists in this deep sleep, might be processing things, sorting through memories, filing them away, deciding what to keep and what to discard. This is what the brain does during deep sleep: housekeeping, organizing, making sense of the day's experiences. But it's all happening below the level of awareness. You don't need to know about it or participate in it. Your brain knows what it's doing. It's been doing this every night for your entire life, perfecting its processes, learning what works, becoming more efficient with each cycle of sleep. Trust it. Trust your body. Trust the ocean. Trust the darkness. Trust the deep. Everything is happening exactly as it should. Everything is unfolding in perfect timing. There's no need to monitor or check or verify. Just rest. Just be. Just allow. The water temperature remains constant. 1 degree Celsius. 2 degrees. Cold enough to slow everything down, to create this sense of suspended animation, but not so cold that it's uncomfortable. Just right. Perfect. Exactly what's needed for this depth of rest. If you were to somehow travel horizontally from here, moving along the trench floor instead of up or down, you'd eventually reach the walls of the trench. Steep slopes rising up at angles that would be impossible to climb, covered in the same soft sediment, disappearing up into the darkness above. The trench is shaped like a crescent moon, curving across the ocean floor for thousands of kilometers. At some points it's narrow, just a few kilometers wide. At others it widens out, creating broader depressions in the ocean floor. But everywhere, it's deep, deeper than almost anywhere else on Earth. You're in the deepest part of that crescent, the very bottom of the curve, the point where the descent ends and there's nowhere deeper to go. The absolute terminus of falling. And there's something final about that. Something complete. You've reached the end of something. And in that ending, there's peace. The peace of arrival. The peace of completion. The peace of knowing there's nothing more to do. Nowhere further to go. This is it. The destination. And now you can simply be here, without any need to keep moving, Keep searching. Keep striving. The ocean above you contains everything. All the life, all the movement, all the sound and light and energy. Dolphins leaping through waves. Sharks hunting in the Twilight Zone. Whales singing their long, mournful songs. Coral reefs teeming with color and activity. Kelp forests swaying in the current. All of that exists, and it's beautiful, and it's important. But it's not here. Here, there's only stillness, only darkness, only the profound, encompassing peace of the deepest point. Both realities are true. Both realities exist. The vibrant life of the surface and the still peace of the depths. And you contain both. You're a creature of both worlds, capable of movement and stillness, of waking and sleeping, of doing and being. Right now, you're choosing being, choosing stillness, choosing the depths. And that's perfect. That's exactly right. Because this is what you need. This is what your body and mind and spirit are asking for. Deep rest, deep peace, deep sleep. Your dreams, if they are happening, are so far beneath consciousness that you'll never remember them. They are dreams of the body, not of the mind. Dreams at the cellular level. Dreams of healing and growth and restoration. Dreams without images or stories. Just pure process, pure being. Or perhaps there are no dreams at all. Just the void, the gap, the space between thoughts where nothing exists and everything is possible. The place mystics speak of, the place meditators seek, the place where the self dissolves and only awareness remains. But even that awareness is so dim now, so distant, that it might as well not exist. You're beyond awareness, beyond consciousness, beyond self. You're just here, in this place, this moment, this eternal now that asks nothing and gives everything. The pressure of the water holds you like gravity holds a planet in orbit. Constant, unchanging, always there, always present, always supporting without effort or strain. The ocean doesn't have to try to hold you. It just does, naturally, effortlessly, the way existence itself holds everything, always and everywhere, without exception. Time continues its slow passage, minutes flowing by like centuries, or perhaps centuries flowing by like minutes. It's impossible to tell. In the deep ocean, time moves differently, or perhaps it doesn't move at all. Perhaps it just is, eternal and unchanging, and only our perception of it creates the illusion of movement. But these are thoughts for the waking world. For now, there are no thoughts, no perceptions, no illusions, just this reality, this moment, this profound, bottomless rest at the bottom of the world. The earth is rotating beneath you. The moon is pulling on the tides far above. The sun is shining on the other side of the planet. Stars are wheeling across the sky. Galaxies are spinning through space. The universe is expanding, always expanding, moving outward into infinity. And you're here, at the still point, the quiet center, the deepest place, resting, sleeping, being held by the ocean in its most ancient, most patient embrace. Nothing more is needed. Nothing more is possible. This is enough. This is everything. This is peace. You've been resting here at the bottom of the world for a long time now. So peaceful, so still, held by the ocean in its deepest, most gentle embrace. The darkness has become familiar. The cold has become comfortable. The pressure has become natural. This place, impossible as it is, has become home for this brief moment in time. But all journeys, even the most peaceful ones, eventually lead somewhere new. And now, slowly, gently, without any rush at all, it's time to begin your return. Not because you must, but because the natural cycle of things calls you upward. The way sleep naturally transitions into waking, the way night naturally becomes dawn. You don't have to do anything. The ocean will carry you, just as it carried you down. All you need to do is allow it. Allow the slow, gentle ascent to begin. Your body remains completely relaxed. Your breathing remains slow and deep. Your mind remains quiet, perhaps even quieter than before, settled into a profound peace that will stay with you as you rise. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, you begin to lift from the sediment, so gently that you barely notice. 1 centimeter, 2 centimeters, rising like a bubble of air through honey, so slowly it seems you're not moving at all. But you are. You're beginning the long journey back to the surface, back to the world of light and air and waking life. 10,900 meters, 10,800. The numbers barely matter. What matters is the feeling, the sense of being carried upward by invisible hands. The ocean is doing all the work. You're just allowing yourself to be moved, to be lifted, to be brought slowly back toward the world above. The darkness remains complete. The cold remains constant. But something has shifted. Some subtle quality in the water, or in you, that marks this as a journey upward rather than a continuation of rest. You're still deeply asleep, but it's a different kind of sleep now. A lighter sleep, the kind that knows morning is coming, even if morning is still far away. 10,000 meters. 9,500. You're rising through the Hadal Zone, leaving the deepest waters behind. But you carry them with you. The peace you found there, the stillness, the profound rest. It's in you now, part of you, woven into your cells and your consciousness. You'll take it with you back to the surface world. The water guides you upward, following the same path you took down, but in reverse. Up through the trenches, up past the place where the walls of the Mariana Trench rise on either side. Up through waters that are still impossibly deep, but no longer the deepest. 9,000 meters, 8,500. Your breathing remains slow and steady. Your body remains relaxed. There's no tension in this ascent, no effort, no strain. Just the gentle upward drift, effortless and natural. 8,000 meters now, 7,500. You're rising through the hadal zone still, but approaching its upper boundary. The creatures of these depths are around you, though you can't see them. The amphipods, the sea cucumbers, the specialized fish that have adapted to this world of eternal darkness and crushing pressure. They continue their slow, patient lives as you pass through their realm, barely disturbing the water. 7,000 meters, 6,500, and now you cross back into the abyssal zone. The abyss, still deep, still dark, still cold, but no longer the absolute extreme. You're in waters that, while still profound, are found in many places across the world's oceans. The abyssal plains stretch beneath you now, vast and flat and peaceful. 6,000 meters, 5,500. Your ascent continues, steady and slow. There's no hurry. The ocean takes its time, and so do you. Each meter upward is a gentle release of pressure, a subtle shift in temperature, a small step on the long journey home. 5,000 meters, 4,500. You're still in the abyss, still in the midnight zone where no sunlight reaches. The darkness remains complete, but you've come so far already, risen thousands of meters from the deepest point, and you're still deeply at rest, still carried by the water, still held in that peaceful state between sleeping and waking. 4,000 meters now. You're approaching the boundary between the abyssal zone and the midnight zone proper, the bathypelagic zone. The water here is slightly warmer, though still cold. 2 or 3 degrees Celsius instead of 1 or 2. Small differences that barely register, but they mark your passage upward nonetheless. 3,500 meters. 3,000 meters. You're in the midnight zone now, that vast region that makes up the largest habitat on Earth. The darkness is still absolute, but somehow it feels different. Less heavy, less dense, or perhaps you feel different. Lighter, more buoyant, ready, slowly, to return. Your sleep remains deep, but dreams might be starting now. Not the vivid dreams of REM sleep, but gentle dreams. Quiet dreams. Dreams of floating. Dreams of rising. Dreams of warmth waiting somewhere far above. Your mind is beginning to stir, just slightly, like a seed beginning to sprout deep underground. Nothing dramatic, nothing sudden, just the first small movements toward waking. 2,500 meters, 2,000 meters. The midnight zone continues around you, dark and cold and peaceful. You're rising steadily now, carried by currents you can't see, by forces you don't need to understand. The ocean knows the way. It's brought you home before. It will bring you home again. 1,500 meters, 1,000 meters, and now, gradually, almost imperceptibly, something begins to change. The absolute darkness starts to soften, not to light, not yet, but to something slightly less than absolute. The faintest hint that somewhere, far above, light exists. You're entering the Twilight Zone again, the mesopelagic zone, the place of transition between the darkness below and the light above. Your eyes, closed this entire time, might begin to sense it. That subtle difference, that whisper of possibility. 900 meters, 800 meters, the twilight deepens, or perhaps lightens. The darkness is no longer pure black, but something approaching deep indigo. Still dark, still dim, but with a quality of light to it now, however faint. Your breathing begins to deepen slightly, not waking, not yet, but shifting, moving through the stages of sleep toward lighter states. Your body knows what's coming. It's preparing, gently, to return to consciousness. But there's no rush, no urgency, just the natural progression of things. 700 meters, 600 meters. The blue is becoming visible now, even through closed eyelids. The deep, twilight blue of these in-between waters. Above you, the water is brighter. Below you, darker. You're suspended between them, rising slowly through the gradient. 500 meters, 400 meters. The light is growing stronger now. The sun's rays are reaching down this far, weak and diffused by their passage through hundreds of meters of water, but present, real. You can feel them somehow, even in sleep. The promise of warmth, the memory of brightness. 300 meters, 250. You're in the upper reaches of the Twilight Zone now, where the water transitions from indigo to a clearer, brighter blue, where bioluminescence becomes less necessary because there's enough light to see by, at least dimly. Your body is waking up, slowly, gently, systems coming back online. Awareness beginning to return, but it's a peaceful waking, not jarring or sudden, like waking naturally from a perfect night's sleep, feeling rested and restored and ready for the day. 200 meters, you're approaching the boundary of the sunlight zone, the epipelagic zone, the bright, warm, light-filled waters where your journey began so long ago. The blue around you is beautiful now, luminous, glowing with the sun's light filtering down from above. 150 meters, 100 meters. The water is noticeably warmer now. The cold of the deep is falling away, replaced by the comfortable temperature of these sun-warmed surface waters. The pressure is decreasing with each meter you rise. Your body is expanding slightly, adjusting, returning to its natural state. 75 meters, 50 meters. You can see the light from the surface now, even through closed eyelids, bright and shimmering, patterns of light dancing in the water as waves pass overhead. You're almost there, almost home. Your breathing deepens further. Your fingers might twitch slightly, small signs that consciousness is returning, that sleep is releasing its hold. But it's okay. You've had the rest you needed, the healing, the restoration. You're ready to return. 25 meters, 15 meters. The water is filled with light now. Brilliant, beautiful light. The blue is so bright it almost seems to glow from within. Schools of fish pass by, their silver scales flashing. You're back in the world of life and movement and color. 10 meters, 5 meters. You can sense the surface above you now. The boundary between water and air. The gateway back to the waking world. You're rising toward it steadily, slowly, giving yourself time to adjust, time to transition. And then, gently, peacefully, you break through the surface. Your face emerges into warm air. Sunlight touches your skin. The sound of small waves lapping against each other fills your ears. You're floating on the surface of the Pacific Ocean, exactly where you began, but changed by your journey, renewed by it. The sky above is beautiful, blue and vast and infinite. A few white clouds drift lazily across it. The sun is warm and golden. Everything is bright and clear and alive. You take a deep breath of air, real air, surface air. It fills your lungs completely, energizing every cell in your body. And as you breathe out, you feel yourself waking up, really waking up. Coming back to consciousness slowly, gently, naturally. Your body feels wonderful, rested, restored, as if you've had the deepest, most restorative sleep of your entire life. Because you have. You've been to the deepest point on Earth and back. You've experienced peace that most people never know exists, and you brought it back with you. The ocean rocks you gently on its surface. The waves are kind. The water is warm. And you're home, back in the world of light and air and waking life. But you carry the deep within you now. That stillness. That peace, that profound rest. Whenever you need it, you can return there in your mind. Close your eyes and descend again through all those layers, all the way down to the bottom. The ocean will always be there, waiting. The deep will always welcome you. Take your time now. There's no rush. Float here on the surface for as long as you need. Feel the warmth of the sun. Listen to the gentle sound of the waves. Breathe the clean air. And when you're ready, when you feel ready, you can open your eyes. Or you can keep them closed. You can stay in this peaceful state. This liminal space between sleeping and waking, for as long as you wish. The journey is complete, but the peace remains. The rest remains. The gift of the deep ocean remains with you. You've traveled to the deepest point on Earth and returned safely. You've experienced something rare and precious. And now, you can rest here on the surface, or you can drift back into sleep, carrying the memory of the deep with you into your dreams. Either way, you're exactly where you need to be. Safe, peaceful, held by the ocean. restored by your journey. The Mariana Trench awaits whenever you wish to return. The deepest point on Earth, your place of perfect rest, your sanctuary of peace. For now, just float, just breathe, just be. Welcome home.